So good morning everyone, I'm in my garage and I'm back with the Suzuki GS550. We've done the carbs, I've cleaned them and they're fitted. We're going to start here in a few minutes and I'm really excited to see if this bike is going to start. So we had the carbs soaked in the ultrasonic cleaner for a couple of hours. I took all the rack apart and put it back together again, put all the new parts in, new seals, new rubbers, new jets, and so on and so on. So everything is back in and nice and tidy. I've new spark plugs, I've a new filter. I'm not going to change the oil yet. I'm going to run her for a little bit and get the oil warm. So I'd like to go through everything that needs to be done on this bike to get it running nicely, and it's going to be a little treat in the summertime because it's a terribly comfortable bike and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm actually liking the bike now. I didn't like it at the beginning. I'm actually even liking the color a bit. It's interesting. But anyway, let's get down to it. We're going to have to have a look at the brakes. I'm having an issue with the back brake. It's probably sticking a little bit. I put a bit of chain oil on yesterday and I was trying to spin the back wheel with my hand and I noticed the back brake caliper blocking up. Now I must say this bike hasn't been running for about 10 or 12 years. From what I believe it could be even 15 years. I've prepped the engine now. I put a little bit of oil in the spark plugs. I've turned her over per hand. We're now going to crank her up. This one's closed. This one's totally closed. So it needs a bit of choke. So it's running and I'm really chuffed with that. But it needs a bit of choke to keep running. So idle speed is a bit low. I'll adjust that now in a second. Wow. Right. It's really important to feel the exhaust as it's heating up, because that'll tell you which cylinder is actually firing at idle speed. The engine sounds okay, the valves sound like they're gonna definitely need some adjusting. I'm gonna have a look at the cam chain adjuster as well. Probably need new shims. Little clunkiness, but nothing too major. I'm fairly happy with it. Wow, she started. And how did she start it? She started straight away. So I did a good job on the carbs, folks. I'm actually quite happy with the idle on it. I'm just going to leave it the way it is, because it's really hard to get at the idle adjuster. It's in here all the way back. The engine's still cold. Hey. So folks, I'm really happy with that. That worked out really well. Started on the button and that's amazing. So next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have a look at the front brakes. I just want to see if there's any dampness or any water in the fluid. So follow me with that one and that'll be just a quick check. All I have to do is just get an old rag in here. That'll do it. Just clip them in a little bit. Right. Now there's a rubber seal in here, and if the rubber seal is sort of sucked down, well, that means that you can add a little bit of brake fluid. Well, let's just check out the brake fluid. The cap has been polished, it looks nice. Slowly does it. Fairly clean, the back of it. Nice. Tools need to be tidy. So let's have a little look in here. Just very slowly. And yes, if you can see, this has been sucked down and it's starting to open. It would have gone down like that, but it should actually be nice and flush like this. So it's gone a bit soft, but it's still okay. Right, the fluid actually looks nice and clean. What I have here is I have my tester, and it's just a little sort of a battery tester. These are two electrical contacts here. I'm going to just put them into the brake fluid, and what I like to do is I like to start it, and that means battery is full, a little green light. Now if I lick my hand and put water from there to there, you can see it goes up to 100%. So the tester is working, and I'll just give it a little clean down, a little dry off. Press the button. 0% water. Just top it up with a small little amount. A bit of .4 brake fluid. That'll do it. Now before I put that cover back on, I'm going to just level it out a little bit. So now you can see it's sort of leveled out there. I like to give this a bit of a clean. Now it doesn't look like it's broken anywhere. That's going to be fine. Nice. And I'll get the rims here. Perfect. Wonderful. So I like to clean it down a little bit. The top of it is nice. Look how shiny that is. So, and there is a way for this to go on, and it's like this. You can see the nick here, and that's wonderful. What I like to actually do with these is put a tiny little bit of grease on them, just a little tiny bit of silicone, because what happens to them is brake fluid gets onto them and they get rusty. And I don't know if you've ever seen sometimes really old ones, and they don't want to come out at all, and then they break off in your reservoir. You end up drilling them out, which is not nice. So I put a little bit of silicone grease on them. So I didn't have to do an awful lot there, I just had to top it up a little bit. And I'm going to check the level. Don't ever over tighten these, because this is aluminium. And it only really needs to be tight. So there we go, there we have it. Nice. Not a drop spilled either. Right, we're just going to check the level now. So I hope you can see that. Wobbling around in there, that looks nice. And that's about correct here, so you can always see it, but you have to have the bike level, and you have to have the steering pointed in a straight direction, because if you have it down here, as you can see, it sort of disappears. Once you're level, here you can see it. So next job is the back wheel. I thought it was sticky a bit, and I think the brake caliper is probably sticking on me a little bit, so we're going to probably take off the caliper and put it on the bench, and then have a little look at it. Right, so here we have the back wheel and the caliper. So that didn't actually look too bad, but if I pump the brake a little bit, it'll probably stick again. So let's do that. First of all, I'm just going to check the bearings actually. And if you move the wheel from side to side or up and down, you should be able to check the bearings. So there's no movement there. No movement here. Great. It's actually freed up a lot, so I mightn't have to do anything. So I'm just going to leave them, in fact. The disc actually looks quite nice. What a huge caliper. They're about this size nowadays. I'm going to see what these are like. A little bit of rust on them. The exhausts are nice. I'll just give you a little closer look at the bike. I think everything is looking all right. The shock looks okay. Just going to clean that up a little bit. These look a little bit bent down. I'll have to have a look at that. These are okay. Just tidy up all this sort of thing here and polish up the engine a little bit. Hey, we got some work to do. Oh, by the way, I'm going to take off the rack. I'll just let you have a little look at that. There's the huge big rack here, and it's a bit rusty as well here in places. So I'm going to just whip it off. I'm going to have to take these off, and I'm going to put them back to their original placing, which was here. These have been shortened, so I'm going to have to do something with that as well. But you know what, in fact, now looking at them, I'm going to have to do the indicators straight away. I would actually prefer to order the indicators. I'm going to get smaller ones because they are huge. Huge and heavy. Now look at that. So I'm going to just get little ones here that go on here in the original places, and they'll look nice and tidy. The back mudguard is actually quite nice. I'll get some chrome cleaner on that and clean it up. But these guys, I mean, look at, there's my hand, look how big they are. And I'll just show you the front ones as well. They're not any nicer. So there we go. The rubber mounted, they're quite loose and wobbly. Yeah. So we're gonna change them out as well. This is the part that goes into the mirror. So this rubber seal in here, if you can see that, I just go a little bit closer. This rubber seal in here was broken. Now these are sort of rubber mounted to stop the vibrations when you're driving. So these are quite actually nice parts. But what I did was I took the inner ring out, I pressed in some rubber, and then I heated it up to glowing red hot and pressed this in again. So I have a new seal, and I'll just see how that works. Let's get this piece in here again. Loosely in, and then the mirror. Oh, it feels better, it feels sort of tighter anyway. It's going in nicely. Right. So what I'm going to do now is just screw this down as far as it'll go. Now this is quite nice actually. This is basically the same as this one here, and so I just get a 14 spanner. So let's have a tighten here. Yeah, that's a bit better. This is quite tight now. Let's see where these should sort of be. It's a lot better anyway. It's not moving around. Right, another job done. Yeah, so folks, we're done for the day, and okay, what do we got to do? The bike is going to need 1 new tires. It's going to need new brakes probably. I'm going to strip down the calipers front and back and overhaul them. So we'll be looking at probably new brake pads front and back, and that's basically it. So I was going to leave this job until tomorrow, but I have to reroute the throttle cable. I'll let you have a little look at it. Move you in here. This is the throttle cable, and this is coming from the brakes here. And if you can see that in there, it's wrapped around really badly. Now this, what happens is when you tighten the corner, this is under stress. Little crack. That's the one. The other one is an 8. There we go. Now always be careful when you open these here, because what can happen to you is something springs out and falls on the ground. But I do open them very carefully. Right, we have it. So there's the throttle cable. There we go. And that's not nice. I have lent out my mold spanner to my father-in-law, my new one. This one is actually broken, so I replaced it and he borrowed it, and he broke that one actually. So, anyway, this is an easy job, and I'm going to get a clean run to down there. Now that looks an awful lot better. This should not be tied up with anything here, because that is bad. So while we have this out here, we may as well give this a bit of a clean and a bit of a grease up. So I'll get a little bit of paper. I'm not going to go wild on it, but I'm just going to give it a little bit of a clean up before I replace it. But what I could actually do is I could stick this back before I do it. So I'm going to put glue on this, and it's going to take a while, and so I put a little bit of glue on it and leave it overnight so I can stick this back here, because these are actually quite nice and they're not worn and they're nice and comfortable as well. So good night to everybody, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video, and if you want to see more, give us a subscribe, and thanks very much. Good evening to all of you.